Ever wondered how to increase the horsepower of a 2JZ engine to 1000? Well, you're in the right place. Welcome to the fascinating world of the 2JZ engine. A marvel of engineering, this engine is a favorite amongst car enthusiasts and speed junkies alike. Originating from the land of the rising sun, Japan, the 2JZ engine has made a name for itself in the global automotive scene. Renowned for its robustness and power, the standard 2JZ engine boasts a horsepower that ranges between 270 to 320. But what if we told you it's possible to push this engine to a staggering 1000 horsepower? Sounds amazing, doesn't it? With the right modifications and a touch of mechanical magic, this feat is achievable. So, are you ready to transform your 2JZ engine into a powerhouse? Let's dive right in. Before we begin, it's essential to understand what horsepower is and how it works. Horsepower, in the simplest terms, is a unit of measurement that quantifies the power an engine produces. It's like defining how many horses it would take to perform the same task. Invented by James Watt in the 18th century, this concept has been pivotal in the automotive industry. It directly correlates to the performance of a car. The higher the horsepower, the faster a car can go, and the more efficient it becomes. So, how does horsepower work? Well, imagine a horse lifting a 55-pound weight up a 30-foot well. If the horse can do this in 1 second, it's doing 1 horsepower's worth of work. Now translate that to a car engine. When an engine is rated at, say, 300 horsepower, it means it can perform the equivalent of 300 horses working at that same rate. Increasing horsepower can dramatically improve a car's speed and efficiency. It's about making the engine work smarter, not harder, by optimizing its components and processes. This can be achieved in multiple ways, like upgrading the engine's turbocharger, improving the fuel system, and enhancing the cooling system, all of which we'll be covering in the upcoming scenes. Now that we've got a grip on horsepower, it's time to get our hands on the engine. The first step to boosting your 2JZ engine's horsepower is upgrading the turbocharger. Imagine the turbocharger as the lungs of your engine. It's responsible for forcing more air into the engine's combustion chamber, allowing for a bigger bang and therefore more power. Upgrading this component is pivotal in our quest to reach that magical 1000 horsepower mark. Now, choosing the right turbocharger can be a bit like finding the perfect shoe size. It needs to be a perfect fit. Too small, and it won't provide the necessary boost. Too large, and it may lag, causing a delay in power delivery. For a 2JZ engine aiming for 1000 horsepower, a turbocharger capable of moving a large volume of air efficiently is what you need. Look for a high-performance turbocharger with good spooling characteristics and a sizable compressor wheel. Installing a new turbocharger is not a task for the faint-hearted. It requires mechanical knowledge and precision, but don't worry, it's doable. First, you'll need to remove the old turbocharger. This involves disconnecting the oil supply and return lines, the intake and exhaust piping, and finally, the mounting bolts. Once removed, it's time to install your new powerhouse. Ensure the new turbocharger is securely mounted and all connections are tight. The oil supply and return lines should be properly connected to prevent leaks, and the intake and exhaust piping should be securely attached. Remember, a turbocharger operates at high speeds and temperatures, so correct installation is crucial to ensure its longevity and performance. And there you have it. Your 2JZ engine now has a new pair of lungs, ready to breathe more life into your ride. With a new turbocharger, your engine is already on its way to reaching 1000 horsepower. But there's more to do. So, let's move on to the next step, enhancing the fuel system, to ensure that our engine has plenty of fuel to match its increased air intake. After all, an engine is nothing without a balanced diet of air and fuel. Next, we'll need to ensure the fuel system can cope with the increased power. Now you might be wondering, why the fuel system? Well, the fuel system is like the lifeblood of your engine. It's responsible for delivering the right amount of fuel to your engine at the right time. When we're aiming for a whopping 1000 horsepower, the demand for fuel skyrockets. So it's essential that your fuel system is up to the task. Let's start with the fuel injectors. These little guys are responsible for spraying the fuel into your engine. When you're boosting your horsepower, you're going to need larger fuel injectors to deliver more fuel. There's a wide range of high-flow fuel injectors available on the market, designed specifically for high-performance engines like our 2JZ. Now, onto the fuel pump. This is the heart of your fuel system. It's what pushes the fuel from your tank to your engine. Think of it like a water pump, but instead of water, it's pumping high-octane fuel. When we're talking about ramping up to 1,000 horsepower, a standard fuel pump just isn't going to cut it. You'll need a high-performance fuel pump that can deliver more fuel more quickly. But remember, upgrading your fuel system isn't just about buying bigger components. It's about balance. Your fuel system needs to work in harmony with the rest of your engine upgrades. If your fuel injectors are too large for your fuel pump or vice versa, you're not going to get the performance boost you're looking for. So when you're choosing your fuel system upgrades, make sure they're compatible with your other modifications. And don't forget to have your engine tuned by a professional afterward. They'll make sure your fuel system is delivering the perfect amount of fuel for optimal performance. With a more robust fuel system, your 2JZ engine is ready for even more power. Now, let's turn our attention to the cooling system. This often overlooked component is the unsung hero of any high-performance engine. Just think of it as a personal trainer for your 2JZ engine, ensuring it stays in top shape, even when pushed to its limits. The cooling system serves two crucial roles. First, it maintains the engine at an optimal operating temperature, preventing overheating. Second, it aids in quickly bringing the engine up to the right temperature after a cold start. Both these functions are critical for maintaining the peak performance of your engine. But when you're aiming for 1,000 horsepower, your stock cooling system might not cut it. The increased power output results in increased heat, and this is where the upgrades come into play. Starting with the radiator, a larger high-performance unit is the way to go. A bigger radiator provides more surface area for the coolant to give off heat. This means your super-powered 2JZ engine can keep its cool, even under intense driving conditions. Look for a radiator built for performance, preferably one with a dual-core or triple-core design. These models provide superior cooling capabilities, keeping your engine from turning into a pressure cooker. Next, the intercooler. This component cools the air compressed by the turbocharger before it enters the engine. Cooler air is denser, allowing for more fuel to be burned and more power to be produced. Upgrading to a larger, more efficient intercooler can significantly improve your engine's performance. But remember, size isn't everything. The efficiency of the intercooler is just as important. By upgrading your radiator and intercooler, you're not just improving the performance of your 2JZ engine. You're also extending its lifespan, preventing damage caused by excessive heat. It's like an insurance policy that also boosts your horsepower. With an upgraded cooling system, your 2JZ engine is almost ready to hit 1,000 horsepower. Stay tuned as we take the final steps in our journey to unleash the full potential of this powerhouse. We're on the home stretch now. It's time for the final modifications and tuning. To help our 2JZ engine reach that golden 1,000 horsepower mark, we need to focus on two key components: a high-performance exhaust system and a reliable electronic control unit, or ECU for short. Let's start with the exhaust system. A high-performance exhaust system is crucial as it allows for a quicker and more efficient path for exhaust gases to escape. This means the engine can breathe better, resulting in more power and improved fuel economy. Think of it as giving your engine a set of high-quality lungs that allow it to breathe deeply and freely. Next, we come to the ECU. This is the brain of the engine, controlling key parameters like fuel injection, ignition timing, and boost pressure. To truly unlock the potential of our 2JZ engine, we need a reliable and highly adjustable ECU. With the right ECU and some expert tuning, we can optimize these parameters to squeeze every last drop of horsepower out of our engine. Now, the tuning process can be a bit complex. It involves adjusting the ECU settings while monitoring engine performance and making corrections as needed. It's a process of fine-tuning and patience, but the results are well worth it. Congratulations! You've successfully increased your 2JZ engine's horsepower to 1,000.